From Five County Stadium, welcome to Focus on the Future. Today we're talking with TJ House. And TJ, you had a fantastic start to the year in your first outing. 7 innings, scoreless baseball against Wilmington, 9 strikeouts. How did you feel about that first start of the year?
Oh, it was nice to get that out the way. You know, the first start of the year is always just a rush of emotions. It's good to get back out there, and you know, we're in a new ballpark this year, and it was really nice to get it out the way and actually have a good start to the season. It's always good to get out on a front step.
This will be your 3rd season, and I know for you it's kind of disappointing to be back at this level, but at the same time, if you continue to have starts like that one on your first night, man, you're not long for the next level.
You know, it's not where you start, it's where you finish, and that's the most important thing. And all I can do is go out there and just play and do what I need to do.
What are you trying to work on right now to reach that next level?
Mostly it's just making sure I have good fastball command. I got to continue to do that to have success at a higher level with hitters who have more of a better approach in the game. You've got to be able to command both sides of the plate and throw strikes there.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like such a simple thing in the game of baseball. Pitcher stays ahead of a batter, you know, whether it's 1 or 2 or 0-2, you can command it. It's always a simple thing, but it's easier said than done, right?
It's way easier said than done. Sometimes you get a little excited out there, you get ahead of yourself, and I think mechanical wise, you have to be very, very strong there.
How do you feel about your rhythm so far? I know you've had spring training, and then you know, you've got that one start. How do you feel about your rhythm this season?
I think rhythm's going good. My first 2 innings out there, I was rushing a little bit through my delivery, and I think the ball was up just a tad bit. And I think after that, I settled down and stayed behind myself, and I think it worked out great.
What are your impressions of this league in terms of players getting ready to go to the next level? Is it a good measuring stick in preparing a player to move up?
I think it's a great league to play in. I mean, I look back at the last 2 years that I've been here prior to this season, and I could name about 6 guys that are already in the big leagues that went straight from here to the big leagues. So I think it's a great league. I think it prepares hitters, it prepares pitchers, because you have only 8 teams. So when you get to the major leagues, it's just like facing division opponents tons of times. So I think it prepares you greatly.
And your pitching coach this year, Scott Erickson, his career speaks for itself. A world champion with the Twins. What's it like working with him this summer and learning from Scott?
Well, you know, being with Scott, you know, he's in the big leagues for so long, and he has this just pitcher's approach, and I think he does a good job at making sure we attack hitters like you're going to attack them in the big leagues. And I think that's the greatest thing that we've gotten from him.
Yeah, and not only Scott Erickson, you also have Edwin Rodriguez. I'm sure he's a fantastic manager and a guy who fights for his players too.
Yes, he does. You know, this is my first time having a brand new manager. Mostly I had Aaron Holbert last 3 years, so it's actually a new start for me in that aspect, and I like him a lot. You know, he's very, very fiery. You know, he wants to win, and that's always good to have a manager that's going to have your back.
Well, you've been on this show before. I mean, we had you on here when you were just out of high school. How's the game come to you, and how have you developed since then?
Oh man, that was a long time ago. You know,
what have you learned since then? Let's just fit that all together.
Let's start throwing that in a few short sentences. I think the most part, you know, just mentally, this game can beat you down, and it was a very, you know, last year I struggled a lot with that aspect of the game, and you know, from my standpoint, when I first signed to where I am now, I think mentally I'm just bounds and leaps ahead of where I was. You know, the ability to command the plate is a lot better. I came in with only 2 pitches, now I have 4. So around that's about, you know, what I can say.
You brought up an interesting point. I think about this game and guys who develop when they first get in here, you know, they're throwing everything out there in the first inning, and you've got to learn that it's a long season in the minors, 140 games. This game really is a pace style game. How quickly did you learn that I've got to pace myself, and even though I want my fastball to be 95 miles an hour, I can't put everything into just that first inning when I've got to give my team, you know, 5, 6, 7 innings and a start every night?
I think it took me about a year after my season. I kind of realized that you have to take it back. You got to pace yourself, like you said. This is a marathon. This isn't a sprint. So, you know, once you get that first case of dead arm, you kind of realize, hey, you know, I need to slow down a little bit and pace myself. But you know, it's not about throwing 95 every time. It's about locating your spots and actually pitching. It's not throwing, it's pitching. So it took a little bit to learn that.
TJ, thanks for the time, man. It's great to have you at Five County Stadium this summer.
Thank you.
All right, that's TJ House.